Let's go to Henry Schulman.
Hi, Gabe. Congratulations as well. So a couple of us were up here wondering what a socially distant first managerial win celebration looks like. Did the boys do anything for you, and how did it go?
Well, I'll just tell you that Ron Wotus is just a class act. He opened up a nice bottle of wine and prepared a nice toast for the coaching staff, and we always let the players do their own thing, and they had their own celebration and had the space to enjoy that however they wanted to, and then the coaches circled up very carefully and, as you mentioned, physically distanced and had a little toast and drank some wine.
Okay, and also, have you ever heard of the term Giants torture baseball before? Because they won 3 World Series with about 300 wins that look like this. Is your heart going to be able to take this?
Ask me after the 300th.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris Alvarez.
Congratulations, Gabe, on your first win as Giants manager. It had to be extra sweet doing it against the Dodgers, and of course there was no lack of drama, so kind of run me through the late innings and you guys pulling off your first win of the year.
I'll actually allow you to be a little bit more specific and answer any questions that you have.
How did it feel? Obviously in the 9th they got a little tight there at the end. You give up the home run, and what'd you think of closing it out on the road to get your first win of the season?
Yeah, I thought our bullpen did a nice job of holding it together under some tough conditions. In particular, Goddard did a nice job. Thought Raj made pitches. I thought Waddy made pitches as well.
And obviously, the difference in games, the first 2 games, they outscored you by a good chunk. And what was the difference today in kind of getting back on the right track and playing a tight ball game like you guys did today?
I mean, I thought it started with a high-quality outing by Webby. His changeup was awesome. Executed it below the zone. Had some nice downward movement, and did a nice job pounding the strike zone. And that allowed him to pitch into the 5th inning. It allowed him to build up his volume and get ready for his next outing. We got some timely hitting, big double by Solano. That was certainly encouraging. Some nice at bats by Slater. Great defensive play, obviously sacrificing his body. I think that earned him a lot of respect. And just some good contributions from several different places.
Thanks.
Sure.
Alex.
Hey, Gabe. Congratulations.
Thanks, Alex.
You've talked a lot the last couple of days about the heart of this lineup and just your approach to it. What did you think of the way your pitchers handled it today, particularly Caleb, and then also just the stuff we saw out of Sean Anderson there in the 7th?
Yeah, no, I think both of those guys are worth highlighting. I'm glad you brought both of them up. With Caleb in particular, to go through that part of the lineup in a high pressure situation and go back out and repeat the performance, had some real good zip to his fastball, build up the zone, attack the zone. The moment was not too big for him. And that's something that our player development staff has pounded with us, that everybody felt like he was going to be confident enough to handle the big moment, and he was. And then with respect to Sean, got off to a little bit of a rocky start, had trouble finding the zone, but once he settled in, he executed his breaking ball and his fastball and delivered in a way that we really needed. Nice job by both of those guys.
Let's go to Andy Baggerly.
Hi, Gabe. Hey, congrats on win number 1.
Thank you.
Did you kind of feel like Berriger was going to be like something you had in your back pocket for this series just because the Dodgers hadn't seen him? And then can you speak to your pitching plans for tomorrow, and specifically, will Drew Smiley be available?
Yeah, so Drew will be available tomorrow. So let's start there. And then with Caleb, so I think what's most interesting is he was essentially on the couch a month ago, right? Like, this is a guy who we built up and got ready for this moment. And so he's kind of, adrenaline kickstart all the way through getting ready for this camp and then actually arriving in our camp and preparing to pitch in this game. So to your point about having somebody in your back pocket, I think it's always an advantage if a team isn't especially familiar with you. But I think this is one of the things that the Dodgers do very well. They see you once, they see you twice, and they begin to adjust. But I do think at least the first time out, there's an adjustment period, and I think that played in Caleb's favor and in our favor today. We have reasonable expectations and know that the next time he faces that part of the lineup, they're going to be ready in a way they weren't ready before, and Caleb is going to have to continue to execute.
Let's go back to Chris. Chris Alvarez.
Sorry about that. Hey, Gabe, being that you guys won today, give yourselves a chance to split tomorrow. How important is it to get a split before heading back to San Francisco?
We're going to be ready to come out tomorrow and play good baseball. We still have a lot of adjustments to make. I think that's clear. But we feel like we have arms that are rested and prepared, and we feel like we have a good lineup to put out there. Assuming that Urias is on the mound, we'll be ready to put a good lineup out there. And the preparation for tomorrow starts right now. We're going to enjoy this win today, and I think there's going to be a lot of work done at the hotel for the rest of the night to get ready for tomorrow's game.
You always hear players talk about getting their first hit of the season, getting the first out of the way. How important is it to get the first win, just kind of get rolling and let yourselves kind of breathe and get going in the season now?
Yeah, no, I think it's good to win the first game. There's no question about that. And I do think guys are going to, relax and let themselves enjoy this win. And I think that's an important part of the process. And then we'll start preparing for tomorrow's game. That's the beauty of a Major League Baseball season. There's one every day. And this is a good day, and we'll prepare for tomorrow.
Thanks.
Sure.
Mark Sanchez.
Hey, Gabe. Congrats.
Thanks, Mark.
You said the moment wasn't too big for Caleb. It's his debut. Did you sense any nerves or anything while he was out there or in the dugout?
We wondered because in his last outing in the exhibition game against Oakland, it did look like his heart was beating pretty fast. I don't mean like you could physically see that or anything like that, and there were no reports of that, but his fastball was elevated out of his zone pretty consistently in that outing. Took him some time to calm down and get back in the strike zone. And in this outing in particular, he just immediately started throwing strikes. And that, to me, is the sign of a pitcher that can be successful. It's the number one most important thing you can do as a pitcher is kind of be able to throw a strike at will in any given outing. It's what you do to avoid deep counts. It's what you do to avoid walks. It's what you do to avoid damage. So you're not in poor leverage counts as a pitcher. So he was able to do all of those things. When we brought him into the game and he came to the mound, my focus was on just that. Was he going to look nervous? Was he going to be breathing especially heavy? And I didn't see any of that. He looked calm and composed. He's a pretty intense dude, and he still had that intensity, but he had it with kind of a sense of calm, and he had it without being out of control. And I think that's a good sign.
Separately, we've seen a lot of off-target throws from Flores so far. Is there concern there, and would you ideally play him at first?
I mean, look, Flores, we've mentioned can play first, he can play second, he can play third. I think right now he's just trying the equivalent of what a hitter does when you're trying to do a little bit too much. I think he's going to be fine. He's a veteran player with a track record of success. His throws will improve. We need to continue to be cognizant of the fact that his throws haven't been great, and I think he would tell you the same thing. Just want to acknowledge that, and at the same time, I have a lot of confidence in the veteran status that he's got a very easy rhythm. I don't think moments get too big for him either. So, I don't have concerns about his off-target throws. Obviously, I think he wishes and we wish that he was right on target right now. We'll get him there.
Thanks.
Sure.
Alex Pavlovic.
You've had a fair number of these at the big league level, but this was the first one for a lot of your coaches, the first big league win. Did you have a message to them, or did Woe have any message to them?
Yeah, I mean, and I thought like Woe was the right person for that job and stepped right up. And like I said, I was watching video after the game, immediately went into the video room to watch some of the defensive plays from today, to kind of get a better sense of what went down. And when I came into the coach's office, all the coaches were in there, and Woe had wine poured for everybody and made a toast, congratulated all of the young first-time coaches, and just generally as a team had a moment of celebration.
Let's go to Amy G.
So this is kind of along the same lines a little bit, but you mentioned that you hope the players are able to take a minute and enjoy this game and soak it in. You know what that perspective is like, being a former player, but as a manager, how is it different to enjoy these wins? Do you give yourself time to celebrate? How quickly do you have to flip the switch back to tomorrow?
As you were asking that question, Amy, I was like, wondering if I should give the answer that like is true in my heart, or the one that will actually sound good and be a little bit more entertaining. The true in my heart is like, I'm already thinking about getting back to the hotel, putting some lineups together, just wondering how, if some of our guys can go back to back, what's our bullpen situation going to look like? Like, those are the things that I think about already. And that's just really my experience about what a long season looks like, how many games we play. One of my personal challenges is just learning how to soak in the wins a little bit better and enjoy those.
And Maria Cordado.
Hey, Gabe. It seems like improving your guys' punch against lefties was kind of a focus of the offseason, just with like the addition of Flores and Hunter Pence and Darren Ruff. I mean, does the results of the first 3 innings today against Wood kind of give you some confidence that you guys will be able to match up well against lefties moving forward?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned all of those players, and I think I'd add Slater, and the bat quality was really, really good, and he's just kind of picked up right where he left off from the exhibition games and right where he left off from our sims and all the work that we did in our modified camp. And it's not just the swings and the at-bat quality, but also the work that he's done on defense. We saw some really elite defensive plays in our modified camp. I still remember the double or the ball that Dubon hit over his head that he played off the wall and threw Dubon out at second base on what was really a sure double. And then he made the play today. And I can tell you as an outfielder, that when the ball's hit directly over your head with that kind of velocity, it's a very, very tricky thing to judge. He did a sensational job on that. I know you're talking about the lineup presence. He's been swinging the bat as good as anybody. And right now, he's definitely a trusted weapon at the top of our lineup against left. And I think he's earning the opportunity to see some more playing time for sure.
Thank you.
Go to Andy Baggerly.
Yeah, Gabe, just asking for the fantasy players out there, I guess. Your decision to have got closed today, I mean, obviously that's a product of where you are in the game and who's available, but do you imagine he may be an option for you in that role quite often this season?
Yeah, I think he's an option. I mean, I just kind of stay with the consistent messaging that I've had here, which is if somebody takes control of a role and it just becomes no doubt that that's the role that they need to be in. Like, I know you guys are going to talk to Webby next. Webby, takes control of that role in a starting rotation where he's going to start every 5th day. We're not going to deny him of that opportunity. If Goddard, turns out to pitch the 8th and the 9th and it just looks like it's lights out, I'm not going to deny him the opportunity of being our regular closer. Same thing is true for Raj and Waddy. Like, if these guys are settling into roles and it makes the most sense for our club to keep that consistent, we're going to do it. If guys are hitting in one spot in the lineup and absolutely tearing it up, or a guy's playing a position on defense where he's just looking like the surefire everyday guy there, no question we're going to give those players those opportunities to take control of their roles. Right now, we're still in that learning phase of what players are capable. Like, we're finding out if Ruffy can be a regular first baseman for us. We're finding out if guys can move from multiple positions and be move from one position to another and still be effective major leaguers. Like, we're learning about Mauricio Dubon in center field. We're also learning about him at shortstop. There's only one way to find out. Chris Taylor became who he is with the Dodgers by the Dodgers experimenting with him and putting him in multiple spots on the field. Kike Hernandez is definitely the same thing. Cody Bellinger is who he is because the Dodgers decided to look at him in center field and look at him in first base. Without the opportunities that these players were given, you never were able to find out what roles they would ultimately settle into. And I think we're in that process right now of learning about our players, our pitchers, and our relievers.